And welcome back to the Nutrimedical Report. We have Ryan now. Ryan is part of our Super Nutrimed team, and he's super knowledgeable about all these things. Of course, a lot of time he actually has done the show alone. And, of course, when I popped in last week, I was off to my deep dental care. We talked about that in the last hour, so I won't go over that again. But we have a whole range of nutraceuticals to help you heal your gums and your teeth, etc., to improve your bones. People don't realize, is to say, if you're not mindful of become doctor, you to take care of your own health. Don't assume your health professional or your dentist is going to be looking out for you or actually going to fix it. That's why you have to become knowledgeable and a good health and wellness, and I call life care consumer, which is adding years of good life to your life, not years of misery as you approach death in middle age and the last, as they say, for years after that in a kind of a not optimal state. You don't want that to be the case.
Right.
So, Ryan, we have lots of new. Let's talk about our new product, which we have in a couple of days, the Sports Energy Light. I'd like to start with that one. And we're going to run through some of the products that I consider need a little more attention so people understand why we have them, like Nutrifast, Green Tea Supreme, Selectame now, Super Folate, Lactose Blocker, Salt Detox Glutathione, Omega Cod Liver Liquid, Melatonin TR, Flashaway, or Hormone Synergy, and the Xenoestrin Detox, Semethyl, and Regenerex. A lot of time I get feedback, and I realize I have to do more education on why these products are part of our protocols. And we're very selective in which nutraceuticals we advance and bring forward. In a couple months, we'll have a new version of a special alien transfer factor immunoglobulin in capsule form that will allow people to actually fight all the 26 major pathogens that affect human health. And it literally transfers the immune memory to you, so you don't need vaccines or anything. This literally is the next level of science. No toxins, no adjuvants. It literally transfers to your immune system the ability to fight everything from Staph aureus to strep pneumonia to all kinds of different organisms, and simply taking the capsule form daily, you'll be able to do that. So that's coming probably in a couple months. I would guess before our July 4th sale, we probably should have that product available. Let's talk about Sports Energy Lights. I have a glass of it sitting on my desk, and I tell you, I took your suggestion of mixing the Brain Mag and the Sports Energy Lights drink. This is addictive. It's so dang good. Tastes great, energizes you. If you're dragging you don't want 5-hour energy drink. You want a thermos of this wherever you travel, to the mountains or your office, to work all day long in your cubicle or your medical office or your law firm, or going to the courts, or you're on steel 60 stories up. You want a thermos of this stuff. This is good.
Yeah, it's a wonderful drink, and think about it. I like to highlight three different aspects that you're looking at here. First off, it is an energy drink. It uses 95 milligrams of caffeine, so the caffeine is different than what you'd most likely consume from coffee or energy drinks. This is a patented compound that combines the caffeine with what's known as methylated resveratrol, which you find in like anti-age max, has a long half-life. And so what this does is it changes the half-life. You don't peak quite as fast as normal caffeine, and then it doesn't run out on you like in an hour and a half like normal caffeine. This lasts and stays around in your body and gives you that really nice effect for a long time.
Yeah. Only thing I would say is the Sports Energy Light is so energizing, don't take it after 7 p.m., or you'll be like the energy bunny. What time
you're going to bed, I guess, Dr. Bill.
Yeah, well, if you plan on doing something all night long, working on a book, climbing a mountain or whatever, this is what you want to take. I once took care of one young fellow who had such bad attention deficit disorder, he literally put footprints above the switch plates on the walls of my office. When they say you walk the walls, this young man actually was so hyper, he actually put footprints above the switch plates in my office, one of my exam rooms. But you don't want to do that. You want to have something, and it doesn't make you hyper, it just makes you very clear, very energized, not drowsy, very competent, very kind of smooth energy. It stops free radicals. It replaces all your electrolytes, so if you're doing sport activity, you won't get yourself screwed up. And it does so many things we call anti-aging and mitochondrial support. It's amazing. So I love this formula. It's great, especially when you mix it with the Brain Mag. And in the evening, I switch from Brain Mag to Brain Mag and Calm Mind. So after 7 p.m., I mix it half and half, Calm Mind, Brain Mag, the cherry-flavored Calm Mind with the Brain Mag rather than with the Sports Energy Lights, because the Energy Lights and Brain Mag during the day is great, and then after 7 p.m., roughly, I switch over to the Calm Mind. So these are great, I call fantastic products, and there really isn't anything else like them anywhere. I want to talk about a couple of different things. Anti-aging. Why do we call it Anti-Age Max? Because it basically reproduces in your body the same physiological effects as vigorous exercise or calorie restriction for life extension. It stimulates the SIRT1 gene. It does a whole bunch of things to prevent cholesterol oxidation to form plaque in your artery walls. Anti-Age Max, which of course there's components of this present in everything, including even in our Sports Energy Light Drink. And the component of Anti-Age Max is also in Regenerex, along with the Green Tea Select and other components that stimulate the genes to turn on antioxidant enzyme pathways. So tell us a little more about Anti-Age Max and why it's so important.
A lot of people have heard about the benefits of resveratrol, so they might consume that using red wine or something like that. But when you use Anti-Age Max, this allows you to get the full benefit of what you're looking for, the resveratrol, but it does so by using this methylated resveratrol component known as pterostilbene. And it changes the half-life from a quick 8 minutes to the way that this is built to over 50 minutes, and allowing it to circulate in the body a lot longer and then do what it's supposed to do as an antioxidant, as a NRF2 regulating substance, and then also as a effect on that SIRT1 gene, which has been talked about for long periods of time, which is effective in regards to dealing with things like aging.
Right. Now, some of the things I like to talk about for helping people, we mentioned this last week about our granulocyte treatment for cancer. But our cancer protocol, I want to go over this again, and I don't think people grasp how important it is to have the complete cancer protocol. We have malignant arrest, which literally will stop the energy metabolism of cancer of any kind. We have malignant block, that literally repairs the DNA and makes your cells go through programmed cell death if they're beyond repair. And we have the ellagic acid and full vitamin K2, which is minoquinone 7 with high-dose power C, to stimulate apoptosis of cancer cells or DNA repair so it returns to normal function. People need to realize cancer cells are not mutant cells. They're strong cells that are responding to stress. And the whole model, the teleological model that doctors use to design treatments for cancer is not a deficiency of chemotherapy. Cancer is a stress cell that needs to return to normal function. So when we restore the redox potential with power C and full vitamin K2, when we repair the DNA with ellagic acid and malignant block, when we shut off the abnormal anaerobic metabolism with malignant arrest, when we restore normal vitamin D levels with micelle D3 and myco D2, we're able to restore normal function of the cells so that the cells start behaving like a normal cell again. It sort of calms them down. We're putting your cells into what I call therapy. How's that? Almost like psychotherapy for cells. Metabolic psychotherapy. How's that? And so can we talk about that for just a minute? And then I want to get into some of these other nutraceuticals for rebuilding organs, Nutrifos and Neurogen. We mentioned it the other day. And one of the components that's mixed in our Regenerex is a Green Tea Select. Why this is so important. So Ryan, let's talk about some of these to start with. Our anti-cancer protocol, and then maybe the Nutrifos for rebuilding organs after cancer therapy.
Well, something like, when we talk about malignant block, this is a fascinating substance that actually is derived from cruciferous vegetables, like broccoli, cauliflower, and so forth. In this case, in particular, broccoli seed extract. Basically, it can give you the equivalent of consuming approximately 1.5 pounds of broccoli per single capsule that you're taking in. And I know that's a good advantage because a lot of people don't want to eat that much broccoli, not on a regular basis. But the bigger advantage there is this substance has this profound effect on regulating NRF2. That is going to be critical in regulation of detoxification pathways, stimulating antioxidant function, and regulation of inflammation in the body.
Yeah, it's pretty important stuff. We have these available right now. Our best therapies I've seen so far for cancer is to start off with our Nutrimed products, get granulocyte therapy by phoresis in Mexico.
Decisions is a challenge to investors. Are we going to see economic growth?
Ryan, so we talked about cancer. Any comments that you want to make about that? And we also, by the way, we have another product we're working on that should be launched here in the next month or two. That is, I've already thought up a name, or a couple different names for it. It's a combination of amino acids that builds muscle faster than anything else in the world. So whether you're an athlete or a senior citizen and you're losing muscle mass so you can't get out of your easy chair to go walking, or you're trying to recover from cancer, chemo, or chronic illness, maintaining muscle mass and maintaining positive what's called protein balance so you can maintain bone density and the collagen in your bones, because 42% of the dry weight of your bones, believe it or not, is not calcium, magnesium, hydroxyapatite. It's collagen. People don't understand that. That's why taking Collagen Max, Bone Generator, MyCell D3, Myco D2, which is a full vitamin K2, and the full vitamin K2 helps to reverse bones, along with things like MicroPulse, Lumen Photon, and VibraSlim. And of course, we have the VibraSlim link up now directly to the VibraSlim website for the Europlate and the other devices that are amazing for restoring bones. Ryan, let's talk about, if you have anything more to mention about the cancer Nutrimeds.
Well, I think that one of the formulations, well, obviously the most important thing is prevention, right? And so there's a couple things that I definitely think about people using in that category. Xenoestrogen detox is probably one of the most important formulations for people to use on an ongoing and regular basis, really from teenagers on up. And that's designed basically around healthy metabolism of estrogens and also protecting tissues from the effects of, quote, xenoestrogens. And those would be basically estrogens or mimics of estrogen that exist in our environment. And so our exposure to things from plastics, fuels, drugs, pesticides, our environment is loaded with these xenoestrogens. And they constantly are delivering messages to our tissue that we don't necessarily want. It's not a girl issue. It's not a guy issue. It's a human issue. And in regards to helping to support the body and protecting it, I think I would add that one right in there with Vitamineral Max as kind of a core foundation in protecting your tissues and staying healthy.
I got a kind of a tagline name. You know, the name Xenoestrogen Detox is a little long and technical. With the revelations recently in People magazine and an ABC interview of Bruce Jenner, I would call it Bruce Jenner X. How's that? It helps you from turning into Bruce Jenner. And if you're, as I say, I like, one of my favorite movies is Young Frankenstein, and I'm what I call a really mega nerd, which is why if somebody says to me, Dr. Deagle, if someone's either a criminal or they have some rewiring of their brain, I'm certain that Bruce Jenner, even though he's considered until recently probably the best male super athlete in the last half century, he probably, and his mother probably had very high levels of estrogen, or she was exposed to xenotoxins. And they rewired parts of his brain to make him more feminine in some ways. It also could be some of the toxic things he's done in the past. Maybe he's taken drugs, medical drugs, and or marijuana. We know that marijuana actually feminizes people. People may not be aware of that, but it actually stimulates the enzymes that in your fatty tissues will convert male hormone to female, which we can block with hormone synergy, which is 8-prenylnerinogen. But the xenoestrogen detox is a big deal. Part of the reason is we're seeing a feminization of the entire male side of the human race. And in females, the xenotoxins stimulate breast cancer, uterine cancer, and in all humans, they increase things like brain cancer, pancreatic cancer, bowel cancer, etc. Bisphenol A and xenotoxins are really nasty. I would like that. And then, of course, my other favorites are Samethyl, BioLVR, Superfolate, Power Methyl B12, and the Life Support, which has phase 2 detox for sulfation, glucuronidation, and methylation pathways. The xenoestrogen detox is one of our big hit listings, and my other favorite is Samethyl. We have the most powerful S-adenosylmethionine in the world, which is a 77% optical isomer, with each sachet equivalent to, under nitrogen, 600 milligrams of trimethylglycine. So you want to get rid of homocysteine or lower uric acid, or if you're trying to get rid of heavy metals, and maybe you've been a welder and you've got antimony in your body, or you've got arsenic because you've been eating too much regular chicken that's not free range, so it's fed chicken feed here in North America, Canada, United States, or Mexico, and it's laced with arsenic, because all chicken feed has lots of arsenic. So when I see a QRMA or somebody gets a packed red cell test at Genova Metametrics lab and their arsenic is high, I say, you love chicken, don't you? You probably have it more than twice a week. And xenoestrogen detox is a big deal. The number of dioxins and dibenzofurans in the world doubled with the burning of the World Trade Centers, with 5,000 tons of liquid step-down transformer fluid in each building, World Trade Center 1 and 2. And it doubled the world concentration of these folate blockers, which is the same as putting the entire world on chemotherapy. So if you want to get the chemo out of your body, you want to get the feminizing xenotoxins out of your body, male and female, which are bad, you need to take xenoestrogen detox. That's how important it is. And the other one I'd like to mention is Flash Away, which stops hot flashes, or Hormone Synergy. It's the same product, just two different names. Tell us about Hormone Synergy and why this is important for males to stop them turning into girly girls, or females developing increased male hormone levels that cause bad things, including balding, etc.
Yeah, the Hormone Synergy formulation is pretty cool. Two components that you're looking at in there, the 8-phenylnaringenin, and then another substance known as HMR lignin. And basically, you're absolutely right, Dr. Bill. This is a hormone regulating formulation that can be used for both men and women. It has the ability to work by inhibiting aromatase activity, and that means that it's inhibiting that conversion of androgenic hormones, including things like testosterone and androstenedione, from their conversion into estrogen. And so this shift tends to happen more rapidly in individuals that have higher body fat concentration, and that's a big concern. So as people put on more weight, it's not just the ability you're carrying more weight and the detrimental effects that has, but at the same time that it's causing you to shunt a lot of your androgenic hormones in the wrong place. And so using something like Hormone Synergy, it's all about getting them re-synergized and balanced again.
Right. I had an interesting question talking about these kind of things. If you're trying to lower cholesterol and normalize fatty acid metabolism and absorption of fat-soluble vitamins, you want omega cod liver liquid. In head-to-head studies, it's better than the HMG-CoA reductase inhibitors like Zocor, Lipitor, Crestor. And these have been proven now, these HMG-CoA reductase inhibitors induce, and already there are lawsuits over inducing diabetes in females. There's a 10% chance in 6 months, if you're non-diabetic and you start these in your female, you will turn diabetic. That's how bad it is. In males, they don't know the percentages yet, but the studies are ongoing and the lawyers are drooling. So drooling lawyers is a bad thing. It's like drooling Rottweilers with raw meat being thrown to the ground and you're too close to the biting area. So you don't want to get bitten. So don't take these drugs. Take omega cod liver liquid. Can you tell us more about omega cod liver liquid? What makes this orange-flavored super liquid so tolerable? It's not like your grandma's cod liver. I remember when I was going to private Catholic school and I was a little kid, to elementary school, the nuns would all line us up, usually on a Friday, and give us a big tablespoonful of cod liver. And it was, as they say, like the old saying, if it tastes bad, it must be good for you. It was pretty bad. This stuff tastes great. It's orange-flavored. Back in a minute with Ryan. Your questions are welcome, 800-259-5791. There's no such thing as a stupid question. Call in. And a couple of things. I often get calls or questions over things like other health issues. And people are trying to rebuild solid organs, lung tissue, heart, liver, kidneys, brain. They need to be on phospholipids, Nutrifos and Neurogen, and omega fatty acids, Omega Supreme. And for brain and heart protection against oxidative stress, Omega Supreme Krill. Let's talk about these different omega fatty acids. Omega Supreme Krill, very amazing. Omega Supreme, extremely important. If you just take 2 soft gels a day, you cut the risk of heart and vascular disease by 50% without even adding things like cardivite, magnesium glycinate, malate, gamma E+, supernox, all the other fancy things to prevent heart disease. And then if you are on cardiac drugs of any kind, they're minimized. And so let's talk about that for a minute. What's in Nutrifos, Neurogen, and the omega fatty acids like omega krill and omega supreme that are so important for regeneration of heart and lung and other solid organ tissues?
Well, when you talk about those fatty acids, Dr. Bill, I mean, you're talking about the fundamental building blocks of all the cells. And so most people are aware fish oil's got remarkable science and research behind it, particularly the components known as EPA and DHA, two various forms of components within the fatty acids of fish oil. And, getting that into our diets is a very important thing on a regular basis. But a lot of people don't do it. They don't like the taste of fish or the smell or whatever it is. It's just not in their diet. And so being able to use the supplementation form is really beneficial. Even the federal guidelines state, at least take a gram a day. And that's not just general fish oil. They're talking about the actual EPA and DHA component. And so a gram a day for some people may be, if you go to a health food store, taking 3 1/3 capsules just to get to that level because that's the potency that they find. However, when you're looking at the Nutrimed product, you literally can surpass that almost by taking just one single capsule. But generally, say twice a day, and you'll be up at about 1,800 milligrams of EPA and DHA, which gets you a very nice therapeutic level of protection. And that's a great way to take the fish oil, and also deliver it in a carrot-coated format, so those people that might have fish burp issues or poor digestion when it comes to fats, this can be very beneficial for them to make it easy to use, something that it can do on a long-term, regular basis. And then products like NutriFos, much more unique in the sense that that is a purified phosphatidylcholine complex, and that is a major component of building cellular membranes for cells all throughout the body, and usually is put into play when there's more damage going on, like if liver enzymes are starting to elevate or other organs are being damaged from the GI tract to the kidneys to the lungs. It's a good one to put in there because a lot of times we aren't supplementing enough of this purified material and helping the body with every bit it needs to rebuild. And something like Omega Supreme Krill, people often hear about krill. It's a different way to deliver fish oil, but it's also got a very unique component. It delivers a payload of the EPA and DHA, but at the same time, also tucked inside of it, of this phospholipid complex, is astaxanthin, which is considered right now one of the top and most potent antioxidants. And what's neat about the phospholipid format of krill is that it easily can pass through cell membranes and go from digestion all throughout the body, all the way into key places like the eyes and so forth.
Yeah. It's amazing when you take these things. And we have, by the way, the Omega Supreme Krill is the only krill oil from Antarctica that actually is low temperature production, so the astaxanthin is not destroyed. Every other form of krill oil on the planet has it only on the label, it's not in the bottle. As I say, if labels could heal, you'd see people walking around with labels stuck to them all over their sore body parts and organ systems, and they don't heal. It has to actually be the biomolecules at an adequate dosage and an adequate delivery system that carries it to the target organs to change the body physiology and healing. Really important for people to kind of grasp that that's what's going on. The next thing is, of course, a combination of superfolate and why it's so important, whether it's a pregnant mother or you're trying to recover and get rid of in methylation to get rid of uric acid or heavy metals or remyelinate or form digestive enzymes. 5-methylfolate reductase is blocked in 25% of the population. It's more common in Hispanic people. The rest of the world is exposed to biotoxins that block that 5-methylfolate reductase. And then B12 deficiency, what percentage do you think of people over age 60 have a Schilling test positive B12 deficiency? What percentage do you think?
I don't know the exact numbers, Dr. Bill, so chime in right there.
Ballpark. Ballpark is 2/3. So over age 60, ballpark 2/3 have a deficiency.
60 to 70%.
Yeah, 60 to 70% over age 60. And when you get down to middle years, around 30, it's about half. So, a third to half. So it's a lot. And what the problem is when you have, and it can be multiple steps. The first step is that they lose intrinsic factor in their gut to absorb B12. Number 2, they have dysmethylation, so they can't properly methylate to form the final version of cobalamin, which is going to be the biomolecule is very important along with folic acid, and it's converted to 5-methylfolate form to actually methylate nerve fiber tracts to myelinate your peripheral Schwann cells, your central pathways to make digestive enzymes. There's hundreds of pathways that are dependent on methylation. And that's why these are so important. And one of my favorite to start with is BioLVR, which is activated B6, activated folic acid, and active B12. So before you get all the fancy stuff like Simethyl, superfolate, and powermethyl B12, if you only can get one product, you start it with BioLVR. That's the key. And everybody should be on it. I mean, I really don't think there's anybody that shouldn't be on this for making neurotransmitters, methylation pathways, and detox. BioLVR is an essential for all men, women, and children. If you even open the capsule, make a smoothie.
If I could just comment on that, Dr. Bell, it becomes really critical first that they use Vitamineral Max.
Right.
Because
and Minerals Plus.
Of the B vitamins are in there already, and most of the vitamins that people take, they're really not built like that. They don't have the activated form, so a lot of times they are wasting their money and not getting those. And so they need to switch right away to something like Vitamineral Max. And then, as you say, you start integrating the more advanced formulations, BioLVR being one of them, to really give that extra support for methylation, particularly, as you say, as they get older or they're in a more serious health condition. But don't make the mistake of taking a multi for years and years and years that does nothing for you. It does nothing. and you're wasting your money. So, you got to look at these activated forms. They're very important.
They did a cross-cultural study actually looking at levels of minerals and vitamins in people, and they found that people that took more vitamins that were kind of what I call the one-a-day latrine bullets, we call them. For people to clean out latrines, that means that they're still present at the bottom of the latrine if you power wash it out. And it turns out ours don't do that, by the way. They dissolve. If they're tablets, if they're capsules, they burst and have activated forms that immediately zip across your gut wall into your splanchnic circulation and hit the target organs. And when you take these, actually, they discover that people in North America, that Americans take a lot of, they call these really garbage vitamins, their nutrient imbalances are even greater than people that are in semi-starvation countries that are basically on subsistence. So they're really sick, and they got kwashiorkor, protein calorie malnutrition, or real serious nutrient deficiencies, but as soon as you start taking things your body can't absorb properly, you get metastatic calcification, like bad forms of calcium, so your internal organs get calcified, your arteries, rather than taking things like our bone generator, micelle D3, myco D2, and full vitamin K2 to actually rebuild bones. And so when I hear people that say, well, mom can't be fixed. I had a call this morning about a gentleman who sent me QRMAs on himself, his brother, who's the same age, and a sister that's about almost 20 years younger. And it turned out she went into hospital, she had cancer. She had a pathological fracture. And I said, well, you can't tell if it's pathological due to the tumor, which they think they've identified, and a possible, pathological fracture due to osteoporosis, probably at the surgical neck of her hip. And I said, what you need is a spiral CT scan, thin section, spiral cuts, 1 or 2 millimeters, and you need a positron emission tomographic scan within 48 hours to determine if those lesions are metabolically active. And you need a DEXA bone scan and a urine test for deoxypyridinium and pyridinoline collagen subunits in your urine. You can do it at directlabs.com at Geneva Metametrics. And if you gather all that data and you have the DEXA scan, you can set up a micropulse and lumen photon over the target areas and take our Nutrimeds and you can reverse it. And it doesn't matter if it's a pathological fracture. We can stop the metabolism of cancer that's causing bone osteolysis. There's just no need for this stuff happening. And the conventional doctors are boggled and lost. I'm not. Throw it at me. I'll try to find an answer. I don't have one. I'll work hard to find it. And I literally take time off, but I work 7 days a week at what I do with this. So if you've been doing that for more than a third of a century, you get to gain a little bit of knowledge that helps people a lot. Back in a minute with Ryan. Your name, I guess, Cecil in Austin, Texas. You're a regular caller, too, Cecil. Go ahead. You usually have excellent questions.
Yeah, this is more of a curiosity than anything else, Doc. I have 2 questions. One about the Tangy Tangerine 2.0, and the other one is a friend at work. He doesn't work there anymore, but I told him for years to call you about his knees. His knees were going bad. And he never did, of course. He never listened to me. So he got knee surgery, and he got a mechanical replacement. He's 60. And guess what? He's come back, to visit, and he's always rubbing his knee now. And it's 6 months ago, and it's always in pain. And and I told him to call you, and he never did.
Well, all I can say is we can only help. We can pray for people, but we can't help them unless they're willing to call. And that includes physicians and health providers around the world that need to get some instructions. Now, and people need to know I am a sheepdog for God. I try to do the best I can. I have some, radio and personality defects. One of them is I get too technical, I talk too fast, and I sometimes will interrupt guests. And I'm trying to repent of that, although at times if guests are either boring or say something stupid or dangerous, I'm going to interrupt because I do have a bark and a bite. But I am trying to repent of that. What I try to do is I try to tell people, and it's not being arrogant, God's given me these skill sets to be able to help people. And even if I don't have the immediate answer, I will use logic, research, and tools, because I connect now. I belong to the Academies of Anti-Aging, Environmental, and Advancement of Medicine, and I teach and blog in the Academy of Anti-Aging Medicine to all the doctors in the world. If I don't have the problem, I can problem solve it to actually start to kind of dissect. What he's having in his knee is very likely a stealth infection at the attachment between the metastasis of the bone and the knee replacement, or he's having a materials intolerance to either the metals in the appliance or the machining oil that's used in the appliance that can cause a periarticular, because remember now it's integrated with normal human tissues, whether it's a ligament complex around the knee, etc. So it's a good example of the problems. The other thing you had to ask the question was what's called Tangy Tangerine 2.0.
Yeah, I've already sent off for my vitamin Max and mineral. I'm trying to do that all the time now. But
well,
for a while,
I don't know all the details,
and I bought some Tangy Tangerine because people said, try it. And so I tried it, and I noticed, like, within 2 hours, after just a little bit, my urine was very yellow. And they said, oh, yeah, you're just urinating some of that out. And I go, why would I be urinating something out I just paid for? I mean,
well,
I'm not kidding.
First off, so B vitamins will do that, but the problem is if it's not an activated form of B, your body can't absorb it and convert it. So your body has to do what's called the bioconversion of its activated forms. And if you can't bioconvert things, your body dumps it. And that's not good, because if you get deficiencies of things like thiamine, which is important, and that's vitamin B6, vitamin B1, or vitamin B6, which is pyridoxine, so you want the pyridoxal 5-phosphate form for your body to utilize it. The unique thing about Nutrimeds is every single one of ours are designed that they're already bioconverted to jump either a gene defect in your SNPs or polymorphisms of your DNA or a toxic blockade. No other vitamins, including Tangy Tangerine or Longevity or anything else in the stores, including big box stores like GNC or Vitamin Warehouse or whatever, none of them do that. And the problem is I get people that call me all the time and are in panic because they get their 23andMe genes back and they went through Prometheus, and they assume now they're totally, they're damned because their genes. I call it the hollow woman syndrome. Remember our lady who is a movie star, you know who I'm talking about, right? Angelina Jolie. She's developed what's called a hollow woman syndrome, and I use what I call metaphorical dark humor, or my Deaglephorisms is if thy gene offend thee, cut it out. It's like, don't cut out every organ in your body just because you got a gene like a BRCA2 1 or 2 panel, or you have gene defects that make you turn diabetic or develop retinopathy or other problems, because it's like a library. You might have inherited some genetic tendencies toward your ancestors that are both genetic and epigenetic. They've discovered, for example, that if your father and grandfather and mother were eating bad diets, that actually upregulates or downregulates the Kmax of enzymes like zinc metalloenzymes, or the tendency toward diabetes or other problems. So as you add generation upon generation, it's not just a genetic, it's an epigenetic signal that's transmitted by microtubules to your cells from your parents and grandparents. And it's exactly what the Bible says to the third and fourth generations. So you can change that completely by just having the right Nutrimeds and using the right combination of, I call the power of ones: oxygen, Nutrimeds, energetic, scalar technology, and stem cells. And my book, Dr. U, is going to completely transform medicine on the planet forever. It'll never be the same after that book is put out.
So I'm not going to be urinating out any of your Vitamin Max or Minerals Plus.
Well, your body's going to do, your urine's going to be a little different color because you're detoxing. Once you start getting the right nutrients, you're going to detox, and your body's going to dump out what it doesn't need. But the problem is when you have activated forms, it goes to the target tissues because your tissues are starving. The other thing is if you take things you don't need, your body's going to get further out of balance. And that includes even with Nutrimeds, which is why I tell people you can do the QRMA machine, which is the best way to measure if you're on the right track for your nutrient balance. I just sent a mass email to all our people who have had QRMAs that haven't recently sent me their QRMA and their current medical history, what things are better and what things aren't. The other is functional medicine tests. If you don't want to do a quantitative test, I can recommend labs where you can order the test kit yourself. You can either have a mobile blood tech come by to do blood, stool, or urine, or you can go into a Quest or LabCorp with the test kit, and you can do it yourself. Okay. So when people say you can't do this stuff, the problem is, you see, these other companies are trying to do multi-level cell vitamins, and the elegance and complexity far exceeds the average naturopath or doctor or MDDO. They don't even have the faintest idea how complex and, at the same time, how simple this is. But the processes, which I'm going to explain in the book, will allow someone who's a grandmother with grade 3 to become a better health consumer and take care of their health. But also to know that 20% of drugs are appropriate in 20% of conditions. 1/3 of surgery by the American Murder Association, and that's the term I call the AMA because I stopped belonging to them about 20 years ago plus, because I saw what they were doing, which is selling out billing codes. They were making more money on selling billing codes out to the big insurance carriers than their total membership. And most of their membership were paid for by universities that were actually paid for by drug companies to make sure doctors were trained to the big pharma. So there's lots of attacks, like we call Prop 65 here in California, to make sure that if you have peas in a nutraceutical product that contains trace amounts of 1 part per million lead. They want to give you all kinds of warnings about birth defects, when at the same time they mandate and force vaccines down people's throats or toxic medical assaults. And by the way, I'm a medical legal expert, so if you want me to be in your court case, ask Deagle. I'm a guided medical legal missile. And I'm writing an article that'll be up on Genesis. It'll be here also, and it'll be on our blog for the American Academy of Anti-Aging Medicine, highly referenced, and it will scare the, as they say, the bejesus out of these people, because they don't want to have Deagle in court with them when they've been toxically assaulting doctors, nurses, schools, and the state of California. They are going to get their butt sued off. And,
what can I tell my friend to do? I mean, he's constantly rubbing his knee.
Well, the first thing he needs to do, number one, is he needs to stop the inflammation. So I would recommend, and he also may have a stealth infection, and most likely he's developing this as a foreign body, the appliance, and he's either having a reaction to the machining metals for making the appliance, or he's actually getting a problem with the diaphysis not properly integrating with the metal appliance. So he's getting inflammation. He may have osteomyelitis in the bone there, and he could have basically he would have tendinopathy. So I'd start off with simple things like Inflamex, tendon mender, joint performance, and things like bone generator, Mycel D3, Myco D2, and full vitamin K2 to rebuild his bones around the diaphysis, because one of the biggest problems is the bone isn't strong enough, and it either splits, or you get we call it periostitis, where the periosteum of the bone, where all the nerves reside, starts to cause a chronic pain, or he's got tendinopathy. And the tenocytes are activated to swell up, and they cause inflammation there, so it's burning. What we want to do is we want to, obviously you're not going to take it out and regenerate his knee right now. We don't have the technology, but it's coming. Where in the future you'll take, computerized measurements of a knee and regenerate it in the lab, and after so many months transplant a knee that's bioidentical to his, with all the attached materials. That's coming, probably 5-10 years from now. You'll be able to put in your genetic code and have a 3D printed organ that you need to put back in your body, including a kidney.
Even though before the operation his knee was bone on bone, could he have been helped before that?
Absolutely. The process is to put Highland injection, which is 3 molecular weight polymer from Brewster combs. I've done them hundreds of times. Clean out the garbage with an orthopedic surgeon to do an arthroscopy and clean out. Then buff down the areas of the area and remove the fragments that are calcifying to form micro razor blades in the cartilage. Take the nutraceuticals to regenerate the hydroviscous layer, regenerate the cartilage from the margins, regenerate the tendons and the bones. I do it all the time. Every week I tell people instructions all over the world, from Shanghai, China to South Africa. They follow my protocols, they regenerate their knee, and they clean up the stuff and tell the orthopedic surgeon exactly what they need to do, and they avoid a total knee replacement. I do it literally every week. Very easy, straightforward.